Hello everybody and welcome back to Algebra 1 Honors Lesson 2-5, the distributive property. Okay, we studied similar properties, we studied the associative and commutative properties, and now we're going to look at the distributive property. Okay, the distributive property is just one form that may make our life easier. It may make our equation solving more efficient and easier. And let's look at what the distributive property says. There's distributive property using addition, there's distributive property using subtraction. And we're going to do this in letters. Okay, if I'm going to have a distributive property, I'm going to write down A. I'm going to distribute A between two of my numbers, B plus C. Okay, now for the distributive property, what you're actually doing is you're taking your variable or your whatever this is, a number, and you're multiplying, you're distributing between two of these. So it's going to be A times B and then plus A times C. So this will equal AB plus AC. Now it's very similar if you're going to use subtraction. Instead of having a plus sign here, you're going to have a negative sign. Okay? And again, you're going to distribute. You're going to multiply each of these variables by this A. So A times B would be AB minus AC. And then we're going to have a couple examples, and then we're going to show you how the distributive property can be a godsend for numbers that are so humongously big that you can't put them in your calculator to solve. But if you understand the distributive property, you're going to be able to solve any type of this type of problem. All right, now let's look at a couple of our examples. Okay. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to change this multiplication problem into a problem that utilizes the distributive property. Okay, as you can see, we're going to multiply 5 times 83. All right, well, if I was going to make a distributive property, I'm going to have a number on the outside of my parentheses and two numbers added together. Well, I'm multiplying by 5, so I can say, all right, let me put my 5 out here. And inside, to make it easy, I'm going to put an 80 here, plus a 3 here. That makes it 83. Now you can see I'd probably have to use a calculator at least come over here and do this. 83 times 5. Unless I was a real genius, okay? But if you look at the distributive property, it makes it so much easier because you can mentally say 5 times 80, that's going to give me 400. So these guys together are going to end up with 400. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So right away, I can see that this answer is going to be 415. The distributive property many times breaks down an equation into a simpler form that you can readily see and solve. All right, let's look at another one. Now, sometimes you deal with decimals. Okay, in this case, we're going to deal with a decimal, and we can break our decimal up the same way we broke our number up and make it into an easy form. Let's just pretend we had this, 6 times 9.5. Okay? Probably need a calculator to figure that out, or at least a piece of scrap paper. What if we make it into the form, distributive property form? We could rewrite this equation. We could rewrite this as 6 times 9 plus 0.5. And if we distribute, we know that 6 times 9 is 54. So this guy's going to be 54. And we know that 0.5 or 1/2 of 6 is 3. So right away we can see that our answer is going to be 57. And we would get the same answer over here if I took 9.5 and I multiplied it by 6. Can I do that? 54 and 3 is 57? 54, 3, 57. Okay. All righty. Now, here's where it becomes very interesting. Very interesting indeed. What if I had a tremendously large number? Okay? What if I had this? This number is so large, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, let's just say 20, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 80. Now, for you guys that love calculators, if you try to plug this in, you're probably going to get up to about right here, and your calculator's not going to accept any more numbers. And you're going to scratch your head and you're going to say, wow, I can't do this problem because my calculator. Or you'll have to take this humongous number and multiply it by 20, take this humongous number and multiply it by 80. But if you use a distributive property, it will make this problem so much simpler. Here's what we'll do. Let's take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're going to multiply that by 20 plus 80. Now I've broken this down into a form that utilizes the distributive property. Well, I know that 20 plus 80 is 100. So I'm going to end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times 100. So my answer is just going to have to add 2 zeros after the 9. So here's my answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 2 zeros. So you can see that the distributive property is very useful, especially when you have some humongous numbers that can't go in the calculator. If you break it into distributive property, usually you can solve these problems with minimal effort.